Hi Year 4, welcome to Wednesday's maths lesson. For the next 3 days you're going to be solving a range of word problems involving money. So some of them will be addition, some of them will be subtraction, some multiplication and some division. All of them will have more than one thing that you need to do to complete the question. So some of them might be adding two different sets of numbers, some of them may be adding and subtracting, some may be multiplying and adding, some may be dividing and subtracting. So for these questions, it's really important that we follow our steps to solve a word problem. Okay, so first we need to make sure that we read the question really carefully and fully understand what it's actually asking us to do. Then we need to identify the important bits of information and which operations you're going to use. Then draw a bar model using all of the information that you know, and use question marks to show the information that you don't know. For some of these questions, you may need to do a bar model for one part and then get a bit of more information and then do another bar model for the next part of the question. Then do the maths, solve the equations that you have found, and then finally check that you have completed each step and fully answered the question. Remembering when we're answering a word problem, often we need to use a sentence to answer the question properly. Okay, so I'm going to go through a few of them for you now. If you feel that you are confident in getting started, you can go and get started straight away. There's a range of questions for today, tomorrow, and Friday, getting progressively harder. Go through them at your own pace. If you don't finish today's questions today in this session, keep working on them tomorrow and only move on when you're feeling confident. Okay, all right, so our first question, I'm going to start by reading it carefully. Miss Mather starts the day with £15. At lunchtime, she spends £2.50 on a hot meal. Then after school, the other Year 4 teachers each give Miss Mather £1 to buy things for science the following day. How much money does she have at the end of the day? So now I've read it, so I know that what I'm looking for is how much money she has after spending a little bit here and then being given a little bit more here. So the question's asking me to find out how much she's going to end up with. Next, I've identified the important bits of information. So I've highlighted these. I find it easiest to highlight all of the bits of information that I need. So I've highlighted starts because that is where I'm beginning. Okay, so £15 is where I start. That's the beginning of my day, or the amount of money that I have. Then I've highlighted £2.50. Okay, so I really should have highlighted spent. So I'm going to highlight that here because this £2.50 is important to know that I'm going to have to take this amount off because she spent it from the £15. The next bit I've highlighted is Year 4 teachers give and £1. Now the reason why I've highlighted Year 4 teachers because it doesn't actually say explicitly how much money that is. It says the other Year 4 teachers. So I need to know how many Year 4 teachers, and I need to know that they're giving her £1. So she's gaining £1 from each of them. Then the last thing I've identified is how much and at the end. Okay, so I know that what the question's asking me is to find out how much after all of these things will she have at the end. Okay. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to break it down into which order I'm going to complete it in, or what steps I have. This is to help me organize what I'm doing. Okay, so I've highlighted the first step yellow, second green, and the third blue. So I know the first thing I need to do is find out how much she has after she has spent £2.50. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Then I'm going to find out how much she'll have once she's been given £1 from each of the other Year 4 teachers. And then finally, I'll have what she has at the end of the day. Okay, so now I'm going to draw I've drawn a bar model. So my bar model here is just for step 1. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to need to draw more than one bar model for this question. So step 1, I have the whole, which is 15. So the start is 15, and then £2.50, which is how much I have spent. What I don't know is how much there is after I've spent that amount of money. Okay, so you can see there I've got my bar model again, which I've annotated. It's good to annotate your bar models while you're doing these multi-step questions, because it shows you exactly what information you have actually found. So here, as you can see, I've got my £15 minus my £2.50, and I've done the maths here using column subtraction. You could have counted backwards or done another method. I've used column subtraction because it clearly shows what it is that I have done. Okay, so after I've taken £2.50 from £15, remembering to exchange from my ones column down to my tenths column, I have £12.50 left. Okay, so that's what I've got left over. So that's going to go here now. So I've got £12.50 left. All right, so now I need to look at my second part of the question. So I've spent £2.50 on lunch now, or Miss Mother has spent £2.50 on lunch. She's now got £12.50 left. And the next part of the question asks me to add £1 for each of the other Year 4 classes. Okay, so we know there's 4 Year 4 classes altogether, which means that there are three amounts of money coming in, or 3 lots of £1 coming in from the other classroom teachers. Okay, so we've got £12.50 here, and we've got our 3 £1 here for science for tomorrow. What we don't know is how much she'll end up with. Okay, so there's my bar model representing the information that I know and what I am not sure of, what I need to find out, which will help me work out what my equation is. Okay, so here we go, annotate it again. My equation here is £12.50 plus £3. Now, obviously, I've just taken these £1. I need to add them together, and I've done that here and just added it to already. So £12.50 plus £3 equals £15.50, and now I know how much she has at the end of the day. So now I need to check, if I put that all together, check, have I completed each step? Okay, so I started with £15, I took away £2.50, and then I added £3. And I have answered my question using a sentence. She has £15.50 at the end of the day. So yes, I have completed each step, and there you can see clearly I've answered it with a sentence as well. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is go through one of the questions which is on the sheet. So if you're feeling confident, you could, you don't need to watch the rest of this. You can go and get started. For the next lot of slides for tomorrow, I'm also going through a few of the questions that are on the sheets. So if you feel that you need some support, feel free to go through the slides tomorrow morning. Otherwise, if you feel confident, get started on your problem solving and see how you go. I have put on the answer sheets the steps involved. So if you do need extra help with any of the questions that I haven't gone through on the slides, they are up on the website as well. Okay, so good luck anybody who's leaving us now. And for everybody else, the question that I'm going to go through now is, Annie has £10 to spend on these 2 items. How much will she get back? So I'm effectively so if I'm reading this, the first thing I need to do is make sure that I understand what it is that I'm being asked, which is that I need to find out, after she's spent money on these things, how much change will she get? Okay, so now I'm going to, so I've read the question carefully, I'm going to find the important information. So I know that £10 is important because that's how much I'm starting with. These two items, so this much here, this one, so again, I'm going to highlight the amount of money. So £2.40 for the grapes and £3.50 for the lollies. Those bits of information are important. Also, how much will she get back? So I know that ultimately what I'm looking for is how much change I will get. You can see I've split these into two parts. So I've got the first one, which is how much these two items cost. And then the second one is how much will I get back? And in fact, I've made a little bit of a mistake there because that £10 should actually be part of the second part, because it's what I'll need to find out what I get back. So to begin with, I just need to know the £2.40 for grapes and £3.50 for lollies. Okay, so for my whole question, I can draw one bar model, which you can see here. So I've got £10 to begin with. I'm going to spend £2.40 and then £3.50. So that's my total cost. And then the amount of change that I get will put together with the cost will add up to £10. Okay, so first I need to add these two to find my total cost. That's a big highlighter. And then I'm going to need to take that away from 10 to find out my change. Okay, so I'm adding and then I am taking away. So here we go. When I'm adding amounts of money, if I'm using the formal column method, do make sure that you align the decimal point. The other way that you could answer this is by partitioning the pounds and pence and then adding the two together. Okay, so I've got both of them here. So if I'm doing my formal written method, I add 0 and 0 is 0. Oh, doing this in highlighter is not a great idea. Let's try that again. Okay, so 0 and 0 is 0. 4 plus 5 is 9. Don't forget to add the decimal point. 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay, and I will see that that is the same as if I do my partitioning. So 40 plus 50 is 90, 2 plus 3 is 5, put that together is £5.90. All right, so I've found my first answer, which is the total cost. My total cost, these two together, is £5.90. What I need to do now is take my total cost, so this is now my second part of the question, take the total cost from £10, which is the amount of money I started with. Okay, so I can do that in two different ways again. I could do formal written subtraction, or I can count on. Okay, so rather than doing my subtraction question as formal written method, I'm going to count on. Starting from 590, if I add 1, that's 690, another one, 790, 890, 990, and then I need just another 10 pence rather, to make £10. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pounds, and the 10p makes £4 and 10p. Okay, so if you did formal written subtraction, you would find that you should have the same answer as well. If not, it's possible that you have carried somewhere wrong, so just make sure that you do get that right answer. Okay, so now I have found how much my total cost is, that's £5.90. I've found out how much money I'm going to get back after I spend £10, which is my change. So let's find out, have I completed the question fully? So the question was, Annie has £10 to spend on these two items. How much will she get back? Putting my answer into a sentence, she will get back £4.10. Okay, so see again, notice that I have now filled in my bar model with all of the information that I know, and I can see that this is my change and this is how much I spent. Okay, So today's questions are mostly adding and subtracting. Tomorrow they start using multiplication and division, and there's a bit of a variety of those. Each of these questions can be done in a number of different ways. So just like I used counting on here, I could have used column subtraction. So do just make sure when you're answering your questions, you think about what the best way to answer the question is, or the best way to solve the equation is. Okay, good luck with today's work, and hopefully you enjoy this set of challenges.